It's time to get lost in the Midcard. This Bleav in Pro Wrestling property is brought to you by Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Join now and receive your 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code Bleav. Now, here are Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where the WWE may get a Regal family reunion. It's Lost in the Midcard. Here we are, December 5th. We are already nosediving into December. Christmas 20 days away. Final Battle just a few days away. Deadline also a few days away on the same day. We will cover our predictions at the end of the show for that, as well as give you the latest on what's going to possibly happen on Monday Night Raw. Thank you for tuning in live here. If you are live with us, we will get you in the chat there. Give us your thoughts, questions, anything that you're live in the chat with there. If you're listening to us on demand, do try to join us live because we are here every Monday, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, leading up to Monday Night Raw. As always, my co-host, he is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime, is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing today?
What up, man? Another night of professional wrestling coming at us with Monday Night Raw. 2 good women's matches announced tonight. So, I mean, if nothing else, those should be good.
Yeah. Raw was better last week. We'll get into that a little later on. What are the women's matches announced? I have not seen that.
There's 2 triple threat matches announced.
Oh, yeah,
where
okay.
the winners of each match will face each other next week, and then that'll determine who's going to face Bianca Belair. I'm assuming at the Rumble.
Probably.
But I mean, I don't think they really specified when the title shot was happening. They might do that tonight on Raw. So
maybe they'll wrestle at Deadline. How about that? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Deadline is going to happen here on Saturday evening.
It's going to happen, all right.
Ring of Honor, Saturday afternoon. I Bleav start time is 4 Eastern. Is that right?
Yeah, 4 Eastern, 3 Eastern for the 0 hour.
Yeah, so it's going to be a day of wrestling on the 10th of December, so it's going to be pretty cool. Only 3 matches announced so far in NXT, so in typical fashion in pro wrestling lately, let's add matches at the last minute. WWE's not the only one to do that.
To be fair, those overbooked clusterfucks are going to take a gigantic chunk of time out of that show.
Yeah.
So I don't think you'll see more than 5 matches total for Deadline. They might even just go with 4. Based on how big those 2 other matches are going to take.
It's much like a War Games game, a War Games match, which those do take a while as well. So, yeah, we'll see how that Iron Survivor thing plays out. Stephen Chambers joining us as always. Thank you for joining us, Stephen. Of course, yes, prayers going out to Barry Windham.
For sure.
He's in the ICU right now. I know a lot of people from the wrestling world have posted their thoughts on Barry. I saw Dustin Rhodes a little bit ago.
As sucky as these moments are, it's great to see the wrestling community come together at times like this.
Yeah.
That nobody's taking sides or any of that stupid crap. It's just we're coming together for the common cause of wrestling, helping out a legend. It's that's what pro wrestling's all about, man.
Yeah. Mark Cho joining us, telling everybody that we're the unofficial official lead into Monday Night Raw, which is true. Those are facts. Speaking of tribalism and bullshit, apparently I haven't seen much of it, but obviously, tribalism exists, so I guess it doesn't surprise me. And that brings us to our lead. It has been unveiled by Fightful Select as of yesterday that William Regal, of course, written off of television, possibly on Wednesday, with MJF sucker punching him with some brass knucks. Fightful Select posted yesterday that William Regal is effectively done with All Elite Wrestling, likely headed back to the WWE. They got word during WrestleCade weekend that Regal's deal was coming up this month, and which led to him getting written off of television last week. Another source from AEW told Fightful that after the MJF angle ran last week, Regal was done with AEW, set to leave the company. There have been several rumors on the length of the current deal for William Regal, which they have not been able to confirm. Sources are operating under the assumption that he's leaving from AEW, and sources in WWE are operating under the assumption that he is coming back. A lot of people have speculated that the deal was a 3-year deal for Regal, but it was a 1-year deal with options for years 2 and 3. Obviously, Triple H is back in control now, and sources have told Fightful that Triple H was very unhappy that Regal was let go in the first place. NXT sources have told Fightful that Regal was considered a lifer with that brand, and something that Triple H has actually mentioned to Sean Ross Sapp himself once in an interview. Those in WWE expect him to resume an advanced role similar to the one he had before, but not confirmed. Obviously, his son Charlie is in NXT right now, Matt. Would you like to see Regal back into the role that he once had in NXT, or would you rather see him maybe create something with his son Charlie and maybe some other wrestlers?
Well, first things first. The 3-year with options thing doesn't make any sense because this is 9 months. This would be 9 months into the current deal. But I mean, look, it's seemingly Bobby Fish signed a 9-month contract too. I mean, it's not out of the realm of Tony Khan to make really weird, month-based, contract things, I guess, based on, his previous experience with the NFL and FIFA. So, look, if he wants to go back, there was Wrestling Observer reported there was some kind of clause in his contract that if Triple H returned the power, that he would be able to go back and join him. And if TK agreed to that and he wants to go, let him go. But honestly, if he's going back, there's only one place for him, and that's the creative head of NXT. Shawn Michaels could go do anything else he wants within that company, but it's time to hand the keys to NXT back to Regal, and hopefully within the next year that man steer the ship and put the NXT brand back on a better direction than it's in right now. Honestly, as great as Regal was in AEW, NXT could use Regal a lot more right now than AEW could use Regal.
Yeah, the Blackpool Combat Club obviously could survive without Regal. Who knows if it will? I would assume it will still operate with Danielson and Claudio and Moxley and Yuta. I would assume it still is going to operate without a leader. It could. Brian is kind of a leader in that group. He's the one that kind of calmed Moxley down. So you could almost consider Danielson kind of a leader in that group, don't you think?
I mean, to be honest, it always felt like Moxley was the leader in the group. I never considered Regal to be the leader. It's just he was more like he was in the J.J. Dillon role.
Yeah.
Of with the Horsemen.
Yeah.
I always essentially considered Mox to be the leader of the group anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And name or no name, if they want to keep doing the Blackpool Combat Club, they can do it. And it's not that big of a deal. And you honor a man who came in and did some cool stuff for your company over the last 9 months. Mm-hmm. But look, like I said, NXT needs his help now a lot more than AEW does. And if we could get NXT even a fraction of good that it used to be, I think it's a big win. Porn bots agree.
Oh, we got porn bots again. Hey, we haven't you haven't made it unless a porn bot enters the chat. So apparently we've made it.
Big on.
XXX69.biz has been blocked.
And don't come back.
Right. Obviously it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Regal. If he behind the scenes, we know what they're going to do with Regal, but on camera is going to be the real interesting part. If they pair him with Charlie, or if they bring him back in the same role, but and still interact with Charlie. I don't know. We haven't seen much of Charlie on NXT recently.
And PW Insider doesn't expect him to start back with WWE until the new year anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if he does appear on television, at least he'll be off of our screens for a month to sell the injuries from MJF. But
Yeah.
I like honestly, he doesn't need to be on television. Like behind the scenes, honestly, is where
No, but he was good on it
Regal's.
though.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's not, but I mean they're finally just starting to put HBK on television in that like sort of general manager role. So
Yeah.
you could keep him there in that role, but he doesn't have any power. Like
Yeah.
he's just he's just a figurehead, and Regal could be the one really running things behind the scenes, and I think that would be very, very big for NXT going forward.
Bell in the chat here. Thank you for chatting in and joining us tonight, Bell. Hi guys. I think it would be cool to have a BCC sect in WWE, kind of like DX and NWO was a spinoff of the Click back in the day, and that's kind of what I alluded to in my open. Maybe have a Regal family type of faction with Charlie.
I don't see it. Like they're not even acknowledging that kid's Regal's son yet.
And NXT Europe March on? No, I don't think so. I think if anybody's going to be
Well,
handling
I
that,
think he'll be involved.
yeah. But
when that time comes, but I don't think that's why they're bringing him back.
no, they're going to have somebody there. I bet you. I don't know. Is Johnny Saint still involved with the company? Like
I don't
behind
know,
the
but I
scenes?
mean, one of the reasonings I've heard, like beyond just his friendship with Triple H, I hear that Regal's not a big fan of traveling, and Regal lives in Orlando.
Yeah.
So I mean, NXT not being on the road, and he can he can be at the Performance Center every day because he lives in the area. Like that's a lot better for him at his age than traveling on the road for
Yeah.
AEW every week.
Yeah, and you could still act like you're going back to the office, but you're filming those in Orlando. A lot of the NXT talent, they all live in Orlando as well, so you could film those on off days and put them in as if you're in backstage of the arena, the magic of television right there. So, it'll be interesting. Nigel McGuinness is another guy
not Nigel McGuinness will be in
ROH.
AEW.
Yeah, I think he's going to ROH.
Honestly, I'd be shocked if we don't see him at Final Battle this Saturday night.
Yeah, and we talked about this on the show last week. I think he could be a guy that could fill back into that role that he had at Ring of Honor as the matchmaker.
I don't think he'll be the matchmaker. I think he's coming in to wrestle.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I know. I think we see him Saturday. I don't think he'll wrestle Saturday, but I think he's going to be at Final Battle on Saturday night, and I think he's going to wrestle for the company.
Well, that's
I
pretty
think
good.
I think he's going to be the big surprise that everybody's talking about after the show.
How about a great segue to our next topic here? Ring of Honor. Ian Riccaboni recently gave an update and said that possibly ROH's Honor Club might be relaunching soon, and that could be a possible indicator that a TV deal. It could be a possible indicator that a TV deal or something is in the works right now. During KNS WrestleFest signing, ROH announced that Ian Riccaboni teased that an update's coming soon. He said, quote, a lot of folks have asked me about Honor Club. That might be relaunching soon. There might be some news coming your way on that. Of course, ROH Final Battle on pay-per-view this Saturday via BR Live, Bleacher Report, yuck. But anyways,
Fight TV for the smart people.
Oh, is it on Fight in the U.S.?
No, internationally. I'm just saying for the smart people.
Oh,
you can get it if you want it.
The smart people at Vippin.
All those Vippin people, baby.
Those Vippin people. Riccaboni also was talking about the TV deal in 2023. He goes, I think so. I don't have any inside information, but I'm very hopeful because if you look at the folks coming in, it is very public that we have Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Maria. They're all signed. Brian Cage is with Ring of Honor. Samoa Joe has the TV belt. Jericho has the world title.
Briscoe's just sitting around collecting dust.
FTR with the tag titles, Mercedes with the women's title. If you work where the chips are being positioned, Bandito and Roosh getting signed, Shane Taylor with a big chance at Final Battle. These are all folks who were with the last era of Ring of Honor that are suddenly in the AEW fold. So I don't think there is any reason why there wouldn't be an appetite for a Ring of Honor broadcast, especially as you see the army that is being built with Ring of Honor ties. So very interesting. Now, we both have been Honor Club members at some point. What were your thoughts on the service itself?
Well, I thought when it first launched, I thought it was way too expensive for what they were giving. and I eventually canceled it way before they started doing the $10 a month thing. And even then, I still thought it was too much because we weren't getting monthly pay-per-views from Ring of Honor at that point. So I didn't really understand what I was paying the price, what I would be paying the price for. I think they only got like four. Ring of Honor only runs like 4 pay-per-views a year, so
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's fine. It's fine. Like I said, if Honor Club comes back, I think it's going to be a tab on HBO Max.
Probably.
And it'll probably be announced as soon as Final Battle. I think it will be announced at Final Battle.
And word came out today that the rumor is that the HBO Max and Discovery Plus merger is going to be known as just simply Max.
I really hope it's not. I saw that, and that's lame as shit.
MKASP.
Please, Warner Brothers Discovery, be more original than that.
MKASP on the chat. Do you guys agree that Regal leaving to go back to WWE is a big miss for AEW? I don't, as all circumstances. It's just a clean parting of ways, but people need to be tribalistic. Yeah, I don't think it's a big miss for AEW because
I don't either.
They got we got a creation of one of the best new factions of the year with the Blackpool Combat Club, and that's going to continue without Regal. Regal did a great job the time he was there. It is no surprise. I said it myself on this show a month ago that I would not be surprised if Regal leaves to go back to WWE. And lo and behold, then the reports started showing up. And
he never wanted to leave to begin with. I mean, it was a Vince McMahon call. Triple H would have never let him go.
Oh,
Triple H,
yeah.
Triple H and Regal have been like best friends for like almost 3 decades.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're that's just the way it is. Like as long as Triple H is in charge with Regal back in the fold, Regal's there for the rest of his life.
Bell in the chat.
He's good to go.
Bell in the chat. I'm sorry. Outside of all the Jericho stuff, AEW has killed all of my excitement for Ring of Honor.
Well, I mean, look, Ring of Honor has not been a whole lot of anything for the past 8 months. But at the same token, it probably wouldn't have been anything anyway if Tony wouldn't have bought it.
Yeah.
Because it seems like if you read between the lines and everything that's been said in recent months, it basically came down to Sinclair was either going to sell to Tony or they were going to sell this thing to WWE, and it was just going to become a video library on Peacock.
Yeah.
So Tony Khan grabbing the company was the right call long term.
Yeah.
And hopefully once the weekly television show starts, we can see what Ring of Honor is truly going to be. Because right now, Ring of Honor on AEW, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It's keeping the brand name alive long enough for them to get this television deal. And that's all it is.
It needs to be separated, and eventually we'll get to that point sometime in 2023. Mark Cho knows about the Vipin network. We know that much. Vince had to hide his bribe money. Now he did that with Johnny Ace. People power. Stephen Chambers in the chat saying, change the name of Blackpool to Barbed Wire Combat.
I don't know if that fits anybody in the group other than
Moxley. Except for Moxley. Yeah. That's true.
I think it's a nice tribute to Regal to keep the name as it is. I don't see any real reason to have to change the name.
No, not at all. Next up here, this was actually caught by a friend of Matt's, but on a recent edition of Young Rock, are we seeing a teaser? I'm still behind on Young Rock, so I'm way behind on Young Rock, actually. So I am not caught up, so I don't know the story here. But according to Matt's tweet here, they're at a prime minister's house, and on his case, it looks like there's a game room. I think this might be the scene where they were playing the WrestleFest.
Yeah.
There's pinball machines. There's a big case of wrestling memorabilia, and on it, right in the middle, Matt, what do we see right in the middle of the top of that case?
Roman Reigns' blue Universal Championship. This wasn't by accident. Shout out to Mark Cho. He was in the chat. Who caught this?
Mark Cho caught that, huh? Okay.
I caught the WrestleFest mess up because the timeline issues, but that's neither here nor there. This is the big story. This Young Rock takes place in like 2032 or whatever.
Somebody's coughing in the chat here.
And the fact that the Rock's the fact that Roman Reigns' Universal Championship is front and center with all that other Rock memorabilia, and The Rock has never won that title. I don't know, man. Like, this is the second tease that The Rock has put in this show.
Yep.
To tease him and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Yep.
So I'm still hoping that it's going to be night 1 with The Rock, night 2 with Cody, and do it that way. But it feels like it almost feels like a lock at this point.
Which is funny because
The
Bleacher
Rock is
Report.
coming in.
Bleacher Report put out the rumor thing today, and they're thinking that it's really looking not good that The Rock is going to be at WrestleMania. So I was like, well, that's just because, and I think the only thing they really based it off of.
There's also people that think CM Punk isn't coming back to AEW next year. Everybody can speculate all they want until they look stupid in 2023.
But yeah, I think they're just basing it off of the fact that we have nothing to go off of right now. I hope to God he does not win the Royal Rumble. That's going to be.
I don't want him to win the Rumble either.
That's going to be.
I think that would be.
That's going to be Batista all over again.
Exactly. I think it could blow up, especially if Cody returns in that Rumble. Like, and they don't bring him back in like early January for the build to the Rumble, and he comes back at the Rumble, and they toss him, and The Rock wins. That's not going to be good for The Rock going into the match with Reigns. I really don't think so.
MKSP in the chat here. I think TK is taking a hit with AEW to increase the Ring of Honor brand. And when TV comes to AEW television, hopefully they can return to normal with ROH maybe just showing up before pay-per-views. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this on the show. Eventually, once it gets all separated, both brands are going to benefit better. It's not going to.
Sure.
There's going to be much more room for people. It's going to be a lot better there.
I think weekly AEW programming will greatly benefit from not having ROH all over it anymore. I think it'll allow a lot more acts to be showcased, and ROH can live and breathe under its own brand and banner on HBO Max, and we're not going to have to. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to anymore. And I think that's a big win for AEW fans across the board who haven't liked the Ring of Honor integration over the last 8 months.
Bell in the chat, maybe I hit that Roman will do double duty at Mania. I mean, I think for a guy that's held the belt 900 days, I think having him be the first guy to ever main event 2 nights of WrestleMania makes sense. It makes complete sense.
I think he should. I think he absolutely should.
Oh, what do we got here, Mark? I spy the Rock versus CM Punk belt behind you. What? I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. Marcho, explain. As long as The Rock does not win the Rumble. God, yeah. That's going to be Batista all over again, man. Where is the Royal Rumble? San Antonio this year?
Yeah, San Antonio.
They're going to boo. They're going to boo. Cody, I guess Cody would be my top 3 guys to win the Rumble are Cody, Sammy, or KO.
I think whatever happens with Sammy's going to happen in Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
I don't think the Rumble is the moment. I think Montreal in February at the Elimination Chamber. If something's going down with Sammy and Roman, that's the show. That's the show that it happens on.
Yeah.
Because that crowd is going to be insane.
Yep. All right. We gave you the first list of names for the great tournament out west, the Battle of Los Angeles for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. We got some more names that just dropped here. From here. Of course, 5 names were announced last week on the show here for you. Michael Oku, Shun Skywalker, Masha Slamovich, Speedball, Mike Bailey, and the High Flyer Commander. And a big list of people were announced, and a lot of good wrestlers here. Alex Shelley, Jonathan Gresham, Aramis, Titus Alexander, Jordan Grace, Leo Rush, and Black Taurus. That's we're really shaping this baby up to be a good tournament, Matt.
It's pretty stacked. It's a lot more stacked than it was last week. I think the winner might have been announced by now.
Are you feeling Gresham here, or Leo?
I think it's smart money on one of the two.
Yeah.
I think Gresham or Rush could easily be the winners of this.
I said it last week. I would not be surprised if a woman wins this eventually. And
No, you can't roll that out either. They've got some good
Yeah.
women in the fold this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, Becky
lots
and
of
Rhea for the Royal Rumble.
discussion here.
Yeah.
I think Rhea has more of a chance of going to the Royal Rumble to fight Bianca for the championship than she does winning the Rumble.
Yeah, she might be
I
in the match.
do agree.
Yeah.
I see Becky winning the Rumble and challenging Ronda, and I see Charlotte facing Bianca. I think those are the two matches for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't think Seth's winning the Royal Rumble. I don't know what their plans for him are, but I still think it's got to be Cody. And if it's not Cody, it's going to be The Rock. And I don't think people are going to be very happy about that.
Our final news story for the of the night here.
Can you imagine that?
Talking KO. We are look at these segues we're creating for you today. Kevin Owens thinks recently he appeared on the After the Bell podcast and thinks that a possible appearance in an indie promotion is more likely than ever under the new regime. Talking on After the Bell, I'm very deeply rooted on the independent scene. That's where I came up, and I still have many friends there. And there are a few independent companies that I still hold near and dear to my heart that I love one day to show back up on just for fun, whether it's a promo, maybe a match. The stuff over the years I've always thought of, it'd be really cool if I got to do that one day. Now it feels like more of a possibility than ever. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it feels like it could. And that's what's very exciting for everybody involved, the fans and the wrestlers. Wouldn't that get the Globe sold out in a hurry if Kevin Owens was in the Battle of Los Angeles?
That would be wild. I don't think Triple H would let that happen. Because it's either you're winning the whole thing, and if you're winning the whole thing, you got to wrestle multiple matches in a weekend to do it. And KO's a little banged up right now as it is.
Yeah.
So I don't foresee that happening. But look, a random appearance on on an independent show.
Yeah.
Look, you can't roll it out. Like Nakamura's working Noah.
And who's been friendly lately? Who was in a suite at WrestleMania this year? Brett Lauderdale.
Good dude. Look, if Kevin Owens shows up at GCW, you can kiss any relationship that GCW has or does not have with AEW goodbye. That would be the nuclear bomb that would burn whatever bridge is left between those two organizations right now. That would not be good for
or maybe they're the bridge to the ultimate forbidden door.
I don't know, man. I think that would that the people would be talking about that one.
Oh boy, would they. Let's go into some recap in here. Monday Night Raw. A lot better than last couple weeks have been a really low bar, haven't they, Matt?
Yeah. I was gonna say it's not a high bar to be better than the week before, but at least it was better. And sometimes when we're talking Raw, that's all we can ask for. And it was definitely better than the last couple weeks. And I'm hoping that they continue that momentum tonight. I said the two women's matches have me excited for both of those.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see where things go from there.
I really enjoyed the Becky and Bailey segment. And how about old Bobby getting over with the crowd, huh? Old Bobby.
Bobby's always over with the crowd. What are you talking about?
That was pretty funny though. Her going to the crowd, and old Bobby getting over on the internet. Again, Bobby, somebody located his Twitter account and he posted the video of his view of the whole thing with
Becky. You're talking about Bob.
I'm talking about the old friend.
When you say Bob, I thought you were talking about Bobby Lashley.
No, I'm talking about old Bob.
That's just Bob. He's not Bobby. He's just Bob.
They were chanting Bobby.
It's Bob. It's
anyways,
Bob.
Bob's over, isn't he?
Well, he had his 15 minutes of fame.
I don't know.
I don't particularly believe that he's over.
I don't know about the Carl Anderson thing.
Here's the rumor. He's scheduled to compete at a New Japan show, I think December 14th. But the current rumor making the rounds right now is that he's going to retain, and it's going to set up a match for the Never Openweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom.
Wow.
So
I thought this was going to end
that
with him
happens,
just dropping the belt.
That's really freaking cool.
Yeah.
But we'll look. We'll know more after the show this month. If he retains, he's absolutely working Wrestle Kingdom.
For those not joining live, Bell in the chat here, isn't Carl Anderson possibly appearing at Wrestle Kingdom as well as Kenny Omega? Imagine that.
Be great. New Japan is one of those companies that can host both.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to ruin anything.
No.
New Japan is truly, has that forbidden door type thing that they can work with. I feel like they're truly the one company that can work with everybody at the same time.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be cool with it. And I definitely think Triple H wants to improve his relationship with New Japan, because if NXT Japan is in their future plans, and they've mentioned it several times, you're going to want to have a good working relationship with New Japan when you go over there, because if you don't, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to do anything.
Yeah.
The second night of Wrestle Kingdom is like later in January. It's really weird this year. It's not back-to-back nights like it was in previous years. I can't even remember when the second day for Wrestle Kingdom is, but it's like we got the regular January 4th show, and then there's like it's almost like the end of January, I think. It's like the second night of Wrestle Kingdom this year.
I kind of wonder if that fourth show is going to be bigger than normal then. Because normally when they split it up, MKASP in the chat, January 21st. Thank you. Thank you
very much. Yep. He was quicker than Google, but Google got it for me there. So
Mia Yim took on Rhea Ripley, which devolved into a 8-person tag match with the OC and the Judgment Day. Some good stuff there. Judgment Day getting the win there. The Bloodline coming out just before Solo could get in the group hug. Kevin Owens interrupted.
I don't think Solo was going to go in for that group hug. He didn't seem interested.
I think he was going to go in regardless if he wanted to or not. KO basically telling Sami Zayn that he just is happy for him and never wants to see him again. That just break your heart, Matt.
I mean, it would if I actually believed him.
We know how it's all gonna play out.
We know we're getting that tag match at WrestleMania. You can't fool me, Kevin Owens.
Right. You know that. Good stuff there, though. Street Profits, welcome back, by the way. Took on Alpha Academy. Good tag match there. Austin Theory and Rollins. What the hell was Seth Rollins wearing there? That was not PG, Seth.
Trish Stratus asked on Twitter who wore it better the next day.
Right? Oh my lord, Rollins wearing some lingerie to the ring or something. I don't know what the hell that was, but sure. Anything goes match between Dexter Lumis and The Miz, and Lumis gets his contract finally, so now he doesn't have to get chased out of the arena by security, which made absolutely no sense because he had entrance music, but yet would get chased out of the arena by anyways. Johnny Gargano stealing the bag of money. I like that. Johnny Gargano and Lumis. Now we just got to get Indy Hartwell back in the fold and get the way back together, minus Austin Theory.
The best thing about that whole segment was the one kid that got handed the money and he immediately lifted it up to make sure it was legit. That was the best thing about the entire segment, because that kid was like, I need to know.
Was it legit?
Yeah, it looked legit, but I mean, that kid was definitely checking to make sure it was.
That's a smart damn kid checking the watermarks. Checking the watermarks on that. MKSP in the chat. What do you guys think of the Usos as PWI's tag team of the year? We brought this up just before we went live. Fightful reported it, but we only have the number one now. Apparently, according to Fightful, the top 5 is going to be unveiled sometime later on, either today or tomorrow. Who knows? But Matt and I both on the same page as you, MK, that yes, FTR should have been the number one tag team.
FTR should have been 1. Usos should have been 2. Look, when you have a tag team that's holding 3 separate companies' tag team titles right now, and they're not number 1, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the rest of that list shakes out to be. Usos were number 4 last year, and number 1 this year. I think was the Bucks number 1 last year, if I remember right.
I don't remember the list from last year. I would be interested to see where the Bucks landed this year, because I'm I'm not sure they had a year nearly as strong as they had the year before.
No.
I would be curious to see where the Bucks land on this year's list.
Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai getting a good match in with those two ladies. Like I said, this was a very good Raw overall.
Had a lot of good wrestling on the show.
And main event was very long and very solid between main event and Jey Uso and Kevin Owens as well. So yeah, very good Raw. Hopefully, hey, we're on the road to my favorite pay-per-view of the year, the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
So hopefully the product can overall. Hey, guess what, Matt? I watched NXT this week.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I missed the last couple weeks of NXT just because I'm a busy guy now. I work Tuesday nights now, so I don't. Sometimes I just forget. But this time I actually did tune in to NXT this week, and Matt says he's sorry.
I am sorry.
Yeah, it was an all right show.
It's the most skippable wrestling show of the week, and I don't even think it's close.
Luckily, it's good to see Dijak back. I'm glad he's back, and it was kind of cool seeing the Hall of Famers all get together for the Iron Survivor.
Dude, those segments were terrible.
It was cool to see them together, though. But yeah,
let's get a whole bunch of people together to tell Shawn Michaels things he should already know about the talent he's been booking for the past year and a half. Like, get this shit off my television. This was god awful, just terrible, terrible stuff. Shawn Michaels should not be allowed to book professional wrestling in 2022. And hope to God Regal relieves some of those duties when he comes back in January. Save us, William Regal. You're our only hope.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling down, reliving this, and I'm like, wow, yeah, this was not a good show.
I told you, it was terrible.
The Iron Challenge, the Iron Survivor Challenge competitors were announced. The 4 entrants for sure are on the men's side: Carmelo Hayes, JD McDonough, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy. A 5th is going to be in a wild card triple match tomorrow night on NXT, and same for the women. Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, with a 5th woman to be determined in a triple threat match on Tuesday. Yeah, hopefully Von Wagner does not win that triple threat.
Oh God.
It's Von Wagner, Axiom, and Andre Chase. For the women, it is Wendy Chu, Fallon Henley, and Indy Hartwell. So main event was
look, the only thing the Iron Survivor matches displayed is how thin, and I'm talking razor thin, the main event scene is for the men in NXT right now. The women have a lot of depth, and it's great for the future of the women's division in the WWE. But my God, they need to fix the men's division in NXT sooner rather than later.
MK, no, I cannot explain the Iron Man rules.
That would take the rest of the show.
Steven, we have a rule here. I have renamed this guy. I renamed him many months ago, so now you got to call him Jan Wagner, because that's basically what it makes us do.
True.
Belle saying she doesn't watch Rampage. Judging what I heard, glad I didn't. Well,
I think match-wise, it was one of their weaker advertised shows. But I think everything that happened in between the matches was worth going out of your way to see. And I think for 1 hour, I think the show flowed really well, and it didn't feel like it was a chore to watch, like it is sometimes on Mondays and Tuesday nights. So,
and I've been
it certainly wasn't the best Rampage ever, but they had some decent stuff on there. Look, and they deserved to get the worst ratings they've ever had, because the match card that they announced for Rampage last week, it sucked. It was terrible. Yeah. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, it's like, we don't even care. We're not even trying this week. And while the show was still a good show, I don't blame anybody who looked at those matches Wednesday night and said, yeah, you know what? I don't need to watch Rampage this week. I don't blame you one bit. Yeah. Because Tony needs to hold himself accountable. And he needs to start booking a better Rampage product going forward.
Moving on to SmackDown this Friday, we kicked off with a very Usi celebration. Of course, now everybody on the same page for now with Jay loving Sammy now. Jay's finally being Usi. And then the Brawling Brutes came out as we got our one-on-one match, a great one-on-one match. This thing went a while. Sami Zayn and Sheamus, with Zayn getting a win thanks to Jay super kicking Sheamus while he had Sammy up for I believe an Irish Curse backbreaker. Very good match to start off the opener. Really didn't get any progression from Bray Wyatt as we keep asking for progression. We didn't get any this week. We got absolutely no progression this week.
It's becoming frustrating.
Yeah.
As someone who was so excited for him to be back, like, I need some storyline progression. Like, you don't need to wrestle to progress this storyline, but for the love of God, progress the damn storyline.
Yeah. Shayna Baszler took on Emma. I think they just haven't kind of gotten the footing for Emma yet, so she's just being fed to everybody.
He is most certainly feeling Solo.
Yeah, Solo is he just doesn't have it. He's not having it. I love that about him. That he's just standing there with his arms folded like yeah. I'd rather
he ain't got time for no shenanigans.
Gunther and Kofi, God, that was a good match. SmackDown was definitely a tremendous episode. Xavier was off for the week, so it was just Kofi by himself taking on Gunther. Sheamus and Drew attacking the Usos, and then I saw something from Fightful just a little bit ago that Drew's not going to be medically cleared for this tag title match on Friday.
He put out a tweet this afternoon saying he was medically disqualified and he wouldn't be at SmackDown this week. I'm assuming that means he has COVID. But I mean, that's just me guessing.
How about the return of Tegan Nox? Another great return back to the WWE Women's Division. Good to see her back as she evened up the odds with Liv Morgan against Damage Control. You excited to see Tegan Nox back, Matt?
Yeah, no, I think once Triple H came back into power, it was only a matter of time. Triple H always had like shining things to say about Tegan Nox.
Are you being punny over there?
I didn't mean to be, but it worked. So there you go. I didn't mean to be punny there, but it worked for the it worked for the situation that presented us. So there you go.
And if you're a fan of Lucha Underground like me, you had to love the main event of Prince Puma against King Cuerno, Ricochet and Santos Escobar in the finals of the SmackDown World Cup. Very good main event to close out the show, which I just thought SmackDown pretty damn good considering they had to move to FS1 for this one. But I think they gave us a damn good Friday, Matt.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid show. I didn't think it was as strong as some recent weeks of SmackDown that we've seen, but I still thought it was a good show.
Moving on to the AEW, we kicked things off with Jon Moxley, and Adam. How about reigniting this Moxley and Page feud? I thought this was a pretty hot opener.
This was great. Love seeing Hangman back. I hope that means I'm hoping that means we're weeks away from seeing Adam Cole, baby, back on our television screens. I hope he does something with the Kingdom. Maybe they do something in Final Battle to get people talking.
Yeah.
Like, man, Adam Cole is greatly missed on AEW weekly programming right now. So is Miro, but like, he's not hurt. I don't know where Miro is. Give us the Redeemer, Tony Khan.
He's busy with his beautiful wife.
Well, bring them both in.
Right. Yeah, Moxley and Page, this was just insane. Just it kept going. More of that to come. Danielson and Dax Harwood, we don't have to really say much about this. We know those guys can go, and Jesus, that was a hell of a match right there. Probably the best match you're going to see all week right there. Danielson and
yeah,
Dax
I would
Harwood.
say that was my favorite match of the week. Yeah,
that was so good, so damn good. And then we got ourselves Jon Moxley sideswiping Hangman backstage. That fight continued. Then we got a little bit of JAS and BCC sitting down together, and Renee had to use her had to up her volume there for them to to settle them kids down,
I'll be so happy when this feud comes to an end. I'm so tired of JS and BCC. Please move on.
Good to see AR Fox, who is All Elite now. He took on Samoa Joe in a 6-minute match there. Good to see. Yeah, good to see that he's All Elite. Then we got that, we got that MJF turn on William Regal that I did not expect to see. You, Matt?
To me, it saved the segment because I thought the promo went entirely too long.
Yeah.
But I think that was by design. I think he did that to lure everybody into being like, yeah, this is a nothing segment, and then boom, out of nowhere does the thing you don't see coming. I think it was by design.
Jesus.
But I mean, who knows? I didn't think the promo was very good. But the aftermath made the entire segment worthwhile.
MK agreeing with me in the chat. He thinks Adam Cole should be the one to dethrone Jericho. I say this. I don't
hate that, but I don't want Adam Cole on ROH.
Well, here's the thing.
If ROH is about to get their own weekly show, I want Adam Cole on AEW. I don't want him in Ring of Honor.
I thought about this earlier today. You start off your television with guys like Adam Cole and Jericho, and then you eventually can rotate them out of it and go back to AEW. It's something they can easily do, and they're going to keep them separated that way. But I agree with it. I think either Adam Cole or Jay Briscoe are my 1 and 2 to take it away from Jericho.
About Nigel.
If he gets back in the ring, I'll believe it when I see it first. Oh, there's Mark Show. I accidentally said it too. I said hardwood. Oops. Why did the JSA BCC Renee segment look like the weirdest AAA meeting?
Yeah, it was there. It was. If it wasn't for Renee, that entire segment probably would have fallen apart. But thank God for Renee. So
I love when she has to use her outside voice on those kids. Ricky Starks defeated Ari Daivari really quickly. Willow Nightingale took on Anna Jay, and we had our TBS Championship celebration.
Hey, you forgot about the return of Ruby Soho.
Oh yeah, thanks Taz. Ruby Soho made her return.
I love when he sings the song.
Taz is great. He's got his own. He's in the new set of action figures released. Taz is in the new group, so it's good to see Taz get an action figure. I might pick that up down the road. I decided not to get anything this Black Friday, so I might maybe next Black Friday. Maybe I'll unload.
I bought a lot of gifts on Black Friday.
Maybe I'll unload.
Get that done and out of the way.
Maybe I'll unload some cash on next Black Friday or the next sale that they have. BT, I haven't watched BT yet, but Jake Hager's sign. Oh yeah, there was a hat sign at AEW, and that hat's getting over.
This is the most over Jake Hager's been his entire career.
Right,
he was a former world champion. This is the most over he's ever been, and God bless the man. And it seems like he's having a ball with it. So let him run with the stupid hat. He loves his hat. What can you say?
And then we close the show with round number 3 of the best of 7 with the Elite getting the win. So now it's 2-1 Death Triangle. Again, I said this when the best of 7 was announced that I felt like they were going to give us something different each time, and they've delivered so far, haven't they, Matt?
Yeah, I think we'll get something different all the way through. I think Death Triangle win match 4. And I think it'll be the Elite down 3-1, like the Cavs were to the Warriors, and no one ever came back from a 3-1 deficit. And I think the Elite will run the table and win in 7. But they could always just as easily tie it up next week. So we'll see what they decide on.
Big thing from Rampage was the debut of Shane Taylor.
Yes.
Oh boy, we're gonna get Shane Taylor.
Dude, I've been waiting all year for this.
We're going to get Shane Taylor and JD Griffey taking on Swerve.
He looked lean, dude. He looked the leanest I've ever seen him.
Shane looked good.
He was looking good.
And the other major thing to come out of Rampage was the continuing feud between Orange Cassidy and Mark Henry. Oh hell! Let's look ahead to Wednesday. Since we just talked about All Elite Wrestling before we get to our Final Battle and NXT Deadline predictions. Samoa Joe, Darby Allin for the TV title. That'll be a damn good one. The
title.
What did I say?
TV.
I thought I said
He's
TNT.
defending the TV against Juice at Final Battle.
The Acclaimed against FTR. Are there no titles on the line?
Yeah, it's for the AEW tag team titles. This was set up on Rampage, dude.
Okay. The way this is worded on the graphic is confusing because of all these fucking titles that are on here. So I couldn't tell if it was for a title or if they were just wrestling.
It's for the AEW World Tag Team title.
Jade Cargill and the Baddies take on Madison Rayne, Sky Blue, and former baddie Kiera Hogan.
I give you 3 guesses on who's going to win that one.
Yeah, right. Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia take on Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. We will hear from John Moxley. We will hear from MJF. And we have a sit-down interview with Jamie Hayter and Tony Schiavone. And the more entrants for the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal are going to be announced. When's the Battle Royal for that? Is that it? Winners coming?
No, I think the Battle Royal is this Wednesday.
Oh, this just says more entrants to be announced. So
I'm pretty sure it's this Wednesday.
Their graphic is confusing again. So,
and you might be looking at an outdated graphic or something.
No, I'm looking at the one they posted within the last day. I
was almost positive that the Dynamite Battle Royal was this Wednesday.
And looking ahead to Monday Night Raw, we're gonna have, of course, the tag title match between the Usos and Matt Riddle. It says Matt Riddle and a partner. Is Elias not wrestling?
According to the report, which is down in the spoiler section, that you had to freaking bring up, it says Elias is not listed as Matt Riddle's it says opponent tonight. I'm sure he meant partner. It said instead he has a different partner listed that accentuates the story. Based on looking at the show tonight, I'm going to say it's Kevin Owens because he's not listed anywhere else on the show tonight. So I'm assuming it's going to be the Usos against Riddle and Owens for the tag titles tonight.
The 2 triple threats.
That's just me guessing anyway. That's not a report. That's my speculation on my part.
The 2 triple threats are Asuka, Bayley, and Rhea, and also Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross. U.S. title match between Mustafa Ali and Austin Theory. And Katana Chance, Trick Williams working main event tonight as well. So a couple other there. We'll leave a couple of the spoilers out for you. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Riddle. Makes sense with Kevin Owens, maybe to again jumpstart that feud with the Bloodline. NXT Deadline is coming your way Saturday night. We only have 3 matches announced right now. First, we'll start off with the singles match for the NXT Championship. Braun Breaker, Apollo Crews. Is this the guy to take the title off of Braun, Matt?
I hope so. I'm going Crews. I think the reign's been more than long enough, and I think it's time for a change in NXT. And I think Crews would be a good way to start that.
Yeah, Bell, that'd be great if it was Randy Orton. Oh, the crowd would pop.
Yeah, it would, dude. If Randy Orton showed up tonight, the wrestling world would lose its collective shit.
And Eric Young no longer with Impact. Yep, he's going to WWE.
That's true. That is a big story we forgot to mention. Yeah.
I told Matt. Well, we just covered the stories from over the weekend, so on Monday.
Well, I mean, it was Thursday. I mean, technically that rolled into the weekend. So
what a way to kill a guy off. They murdered him. That was pretty damn good. Yeah, Sanity. I told Matt that as soon as it happened on Thursday. I go, get Big Damo back in there too, man. Let's get Sanity back together.
I mean, it makes sense. His wife still works there, so
yeah. It's Ezekiel that's wrestling instead of
God. I hope not. God, I hope not.
Women's Iron Survivor to determine the number 1 contender for the women's championship. I think we're in agreement here, but it is Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, and the wild card winner.
This is Roxanne Perez's match to win.
Yeah,
no one else should be winning this match.
She is going to take the title from Mandy Rose.
That's my theory. Anyway.
Period.
Yep.
And the men: Carmelo Hayes, JD McDonough, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, and a wild card winner. I'm going to go Carmelo Hayes. I think Hayes.
Nobody in this match. You can make some arguments on the women's side. There's nobody on the men's side to win this other than Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I would have said Grayson Waller if he would have been booked stronger. Like, he was booked strong. You go into the AJ feud and things like that. He was on fire, but he's kind of cooled off a lot since then. McDonough's just lost twice.
Like I said, if you look at the strength of these two matches, it's a glaring thing that shows you just how weak the men's division is on the main event side of NXT right now.
I tell you what, if Apollo,
there's a reason why Carmelo hasn't been called up, because that entire division might fall apart without him being there.
Yeah, because it could be either Apollo's a transitional champion, or if he doesn't lose, Carmelo's going to be the guy to take it off of Braun.
It's possible.
Yeah. So that's NXT Deadline. We got Final Battle coming your way. Look at this little fancy. Look at these two guys right there. Claudio, Jericho, in for Final Battle this Saturday afternoon. Don't go to Fight at night unless you want to watch it on demand, because this thing is going to be on Saturday afternoon. 3 Eastern, 2 Central is going to be the 0 hour, leading up to at 4 Eastern, 3 p.m. Central for the main show. We had a discussion on this here on Twitter earlier today. Swerve in Our Glory taking on Shane Taylor and JD Griffey. I said that as a surprise, Keith Lee is going to be turning heel and joining Shane and JD. You think the opposite, huh?
Yeah, I definitely think this is finally this time for Swerve to cement his heel turn, and I think he will side with Shane Taylor Promotions here. I think that would be the right play, unless Shane Taylor Promotions is going to exclusively be Ring of Honor. And then at that point, they just could have Swerve to just walk out on Lee, and they could continue this rivalry on AEW. So,
ROH World Television title match between Samoa Joe, Juice Robinson, going to be a great match, but I don't see a change.
Yeah, Joe. I think Joe retains.
Singles match for the ROH Women's World Championship between Mercedes Martinez and Athena. I do see a change there. I think Athena's
way too much momentum behind Athena right now not to pull the trigger. Got to be new Ring of Honor World Women's Champion.
And new singles match, Pure Wrestling rules match for the ROH Pure Championship. Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta. I would go Garcia retaining here.
Man, they've cooled Garcia off in a major way over the past 2 months. I could see this going either way, and honestly, either way would not surprise me. I'm gonna go Wheeler Yuta just because I think the Blackpool Combat Club could use a little bit of momentum right now, and I think Yuta could provide that. But I'm not. This is a coin flip for me. The way they've utilized Garcia, and honestly, for the matter, Yuta in recent months, both of them have been completely taken off the gas pedal. So we'll see.
And finally, singles match for the ROH World Championship. Claudio Castagnoli against Chris Jericho. If Claudio loses, he has to join the JAS.
For that reason alone, I want Claudio to win, because for the love of God, I don't want to see the BCC JAS feud continue. I just want it over with. And
I just don't see Jericho losing.
I know, but if Jericho wins, it's going to continue, and we're going to have to see Claudio wear the stupid purple hat and team with Hager. And I don't want to see it. So just for the simple fact that I don't want to see it, I'm picking Claudio to win.
It's going to happen.
I'm not confident about it. I don't feel great about it, but I'm picking Claudio just for that reason. I don't want to see it anymore. Enough the BCC versus JAS. It's over.
I think Jericho is going to get beat by either Adam Cole or Jay Briscoe. So I'm definitely going Jericho to win here. All right, it is time. 1 minute to go. Go tune into Monday Night Raw. Matt, any final thoughts?
Boo. Boo JAS BCC.
Boo AS. Boo AS.
No more.
Thank you for tuning in to Lost to the Midcard. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in. Come back and see us next week. And we are brought to you by Bet Online. Have a good evening.
Enjoy Raw, everybody.